Okay. So I'm just sharing. Okay. I'm just. So today we're going to see Mockito. See, Mockito is also a testing. Okay, a test unit testing used for unit testing. Okay, and it is used along with JUnit. Okay, so JUnit is your Java unit testing library, which we have seen. And we'll use Mockito also along with J. But what is, so till now we have seen, whatever till yesterday we have seen, JUnit without Mockito. Till now we have seen JUnit without Mockito. Now we are going to see, so now we are going to see JUnit with Mockito. So till now we are going to see, we have seen JUnit without Mockito. Now we are going to see JUnit with Mockito. So what is the use of what is Mockito? Okay, I'll tell you one simple scenario. Suppose you have a Java program that connects to the database. You have a Java program that connects to the database. Okay, say for let us have in this database, we have actually table called customer table. Let us take this table, let us take this database can be or MySQL or Oracle. You can think like MySQL. And how you will connect the Java program to the database? You'll use JDBC. Using JDBC. Say for example, in this you have in this Java program, you have 4 methods. Okay, in this Java program, 4 methods are defined. One, add customer. 2, delete customer. Next, read customer. 4, get customer. Okay, so 4 methods are defined. And what add customer will contain? It will have the logic of inserting customer data in the database. And how it will have okay? It will have logic of inserting customer data in the database using JDBC. So similarly, delete customer will have logic of deleting customer data from the database. Logic of deleting customer data in database. Similarly, read customer will have logic of getting customer data from database. Similarly, instead of get customer, I'll say update customer. Similarly, update customer will have logic of having update. So in your SQL, if you think, it is like insert, select, update, delete queries. Okay. Now we have this Java program with these 4 methods. These 4 methods will have this logic using these JDBs, and they connect to the database. And they now let us write a unit test code, a JUnit test code for add customer method. Okay, let us take this Java program name. We'll give some name to this program, like customer manager. Okay. So JUnit test code for add customer method of customer manager .java. So for that, what we do, JUnit, what is we done? We write a test code, right? We write a test code, right? Add customer data. So first we define input to be passed to add customer method. Next, we define the expected output, right? We have seen that. Next, we call the add customer method, or we do like this. We create object of customer manager, and from the object we call add customer method to get the actual output, right? That's what we have seen. Add customer method, passing the input to the method and get the actual output, right? Next, what is next? Compare expected and actual output, right? So this is what we do, right? I'm not writing it, just wrote the steps. If the expected output, actual output is matching, then this test is passed. Otherwise, it is failed. Now, if you see here in this, there is one limitation. There is one limitation. What is that limitation is? See, whatever we are defining this input to be passed, this is the test data, right? We call it as test data, not real data. It's just a test data. I mean, just to test that method is working fine or not, we pass some dummy input. It is not the real data coming in the production. Your real data is the one where your application will be running in a production. But these are test data, not a real data. Fine. So we give some, say for example, customer input data, like we give C1. Okay, something like Kiran. See, there is no ID with C1. Just it is a test data, just a dummy data we pass. Right? Fine. Now, if you see, now with this test data, what we are doing? We are calling the add customer method passing that input. Okay. So what we are doing, suppose I'm doing like this, customer manager dot add customer. We have seen this, right? And I'm passing some dummy data. C100 is a dummy data. Okay. Something like I can pass any name, X, Y, Z, first name, last name, or I will pass like this, Kiran, Kumar, something like this. I'm passing like this. Okay. Now this is a test data. Now this will call the real method, right? This will call the real method where it will go to here. So this will call the real method, your real method. And what this real method, this is your real method. This add customer is a real method present in this object, in this class. So now what this real method will do, that method will add this test data, method will add this test data in the database, because that method is having a logic of inserting customer data in the database. This is based on your business requirement. But to test this method, you are passing this test data, calling the method of this object. And so this will be a real method. This will be your real method. So this is your real method, taking the real business method, right? Real business method, taking the test data as input. And when this take the test data as the input, now this logic cannot recognize which is real data and which is test data. It will just take the data and it will insert in this customer table. And what is this table? This table is a real table. This is a real table containing customer data. But because of this test, so because of this test, so test data gets inserted. Because of this test data get inserted. Test data gets inserted. And which is not recommended, because this customer table will contain your real data from your application, like your real data. Suppose you are launching this as a website, and this website, say this website is actually, having some users, so that will contain your real data. Suppose even if you're running in dev or test environment also, say your dev or test also will contain some simulated data. Okay, but here what you are doing the test data and inserting in the test data. Okay, for addition, okay, somehow, okay, test data is there. Okay, we'll adjust. Later we can delete it. Okay, but suppose we are testing now, instead of add customer. Okay, I'm also writing a test case for delete customer data. Okay, so whether deletion is working fine or not. So for this, again, what I do, so for deletion customer data, what I will do for delete customer data, so we will call the real method of delete customer data. And what happens mistakenly, we pass, whatever we pass the test data is matching with the real data, and the data will get deleted, right? Suppose I am declaring some expected input. Sorry, I'm defining input. Define input. Next, define expected output. Okay. And then call the real method and pass the input. So what happens if this input, so whenever I pass the input to this real method, what this real method will do? The real method is delete customer. It will have logic of deleting the data. So it will delete the data. Mistakenly, suppose if this data, whatever you define the input, is somehow matching the real data, the real data will be deleted from your database, right? And that is a loss. So again, you have to take the backup. Okay. Now, right? So this is how in your test methods, you should avoid testing the programs or testing the methods that are connecting to the database. But these are also methods, right? We have to test this. If you're avoiding this testing these methods, how we can test the functionality of this, right? So for that, actually, here if you see, I'm calling the real business method. Here I'm calling the real method. Okay. Now, instead of calling the real method, okay, or what we can say is instead of calling the real method, why can't we call mock method? What do you mean by mock? Real and mock. There is a difference, right? Okay, I'll tell you one simple scenario. You might be knowing about a scenario like mocking. Mocking means a kind of mock drill happens whenever any fire. I mean, this is to give alert on fire accidents. So what is this mock drill is? You will be in office and real fire accident will not happen, but there will be an alarm created so that all the people in the office will come downstairs and they'll attend. Then after coming downstairs, they will realize that this is a mocking. Mock drill means that is not a real fire accident, but to make people aware of the fire accident, they will actually make the people to gather in the downstairs so that these 5 people will take some sessions on that mock drill. Mock means it is not real, imaginary. Okay. Similarly, you have one more example like mock test. Okay. Before writing the actual exam, you will be writing mock exams, mock test. What is mock test? They are actually like a kind of a preparation to your real test. Those are not real test. So if you first actually, if you're familiar with the mock test, then you'll be familiar with the real test. So mock is an opposite to real. Now, instead of calling the real business method, now in the JUnit, if we call the mock methods will not interact with the database. It will not, real methods only will interact with the database. Mock methods will not connect to the database, but they can run the logic of these methods. But they'll not call to the actual database. So in that way, if you use mock methods, then these mock methods will not connect to the database and you are safe actually. And to achieve these mock methods and mock objects, okay, mock objects and mock methods, we use this library called Mockito. So this Mockito is used to create is library that creates mock methods and objects, okay, to prevent in calling real methods where real methods will interact with database. So in this way, we can avoid the accident and danger situation. So Mockito is a library that creates mock methods and objects to prevent in calling real methods. Okay. So that is Mockito. Okay. So let me now Mockito. Using JUnit, we can write unit test code. Okay. So Mockito, JUnit without Mockito works on real objects and real methods, real business methods. Okay, which contain actual business logic. That interacts with database. Okay. Next, JUnit with Mockito. Works on mock objects and mock methods, mock business methods. Okay. And these methods can simulate like actual business method, simulate logic like actual business methods, but they are not actual methods, but that is not actual logic. Actual logic execution. I'll tell you what is this. As I told you, right, mock exam is it will be like an exam only, but it is not the real exam. Mock fire drill, it is like a fire accident only, but not a real fire accident. So simulate means they behave like that, but not the real way. So in this way, if real business logic is not executed, then we can avoid, because real business logic anyhow will connect to database. That is your real business logic, because that you developed based on your requirement. So if you can avoid executing the real business logic, that means you can avoid the danger of connecting to the database or deleting the data from the database or adding the test data to the database. All that you can avoid that danger. So instead of that, you can use Mockito to simulate the behavior of your real method, but it is not the real method logic. You can think like it is like a real business method logic, but it is not the actual business logic. Just like your mock exam is not your real exam, but it will work like an exam. Similarly, mock fire drill is not a real fire accident. It will work like a fire accident. So that is what actually mock. And Mockito is a library that is helpful in creating mock objects and mock methods. Okay, mock is not real. It is fake. We can say mock is not real. It is fake. Okay. So mock is not real. It is fake. Okay. I'll tell you one simple scenario. Okay. Suppose I have a class A. Okay. And I'm creating an object of A. This is the real object. Okay, this is a real object. A equal to new A. This is a real object. Okay. Now, I can create a mock object also using Mockito. How I'll do is, I'll say A1 is equal to mockito dot mock of A dot plus. So this is mock object. Created object created from mockito library. So when I create like this is a real object. And when I create like this, your A1 is you are pointing to a mock object created from mockito. This is not a real object. Okay. Suppose now, for example, in my, let us take in your Java, you write a Java program. Class A, method 1, some business logic. And this is what. Okay. Now you are going to write a unit test code. You are going to write a unit test code, JUnit, a test. And here I'll say test method 1. And if I say like this, A equal to new A, okay, I'll actually define the input and all. Okay, this is all okay. Define input, define expected output. Okay, these are all fine. Now to get the actual output, what I do, I create an object like this, and then I'll say A dot method 1. A dot method 1. Okay. So I define input, I define an expected output, I create an object, then I call A dot method 1. So what will happen now? What will happen now when I say like this? When I say like this in your Java, your objects are created in your memory, right? Your JVM keep memory. The objects are created here. So an object is created, which is pointing to A. Your A is an object. And when I say A dot method 1, okay. Now when I say A dot method 1, now it will call the real object. That means the real object. I mean real method, and the real business logic gets executed. Okay, the real business method gets executed. Okay. So if this business logic is connecting to the database, so definitely this will execute the database operations also. Okay, whatever the business logic that you have written, that logic gets executed when you call A dot method 1. Okay. Now the same test code now, this is now JUnit without mockito. So JUnit without mockito. Okay. So A dot method 1 will call the real business logic. Now the same test code I'll write now with JUnit with mockito. I'm just giving an example. Okay, here I'll write. I'll say class A test with mockito. And here I'll say test. Okay. And here I'll say public void test method 1. Test method 1. And here I'll define input. Okay, these are all common. Input, expected output. Okay. Now instead of creating a real object, I'll use mockito dot mock of a dot plus. Now this is your mock object. So your mock object is nothing but your mock object is okay. It is also created in memory only. Okay. This is your real object. And this is your mock object. But the only thing is, okay, this is just created as some. Now when I say a dot method one. Now when I say a dot method one. Now here when you say a dot method one, this will call the real method business logic. But when you say a dot method one, nothing will be happen. See, this is a mock dummy object. And when you call method one, this is a dummy method. This is a dummy method. And this doesn't have any business logic because this is a fake method. And this is your fake object. But this is your real business logic, real object. So that's the business logic is getting executed. But here nothing will happen. It's a dummy fake method. This is not going to call this method. This is not going to call this because this is your mock object. And this, when you say a dot method one, this is not going to call this method. This is not going to call this real method. So now what you have to do is, now before calling this, you have to write a behavior. You have to define behavior of the real method one. You have to define the behavior of real method one. Okay. So whatever this logic is doing, that logic you have to define that logic as the behavior. See, just like mock exam is taking the behavior of your real exam, but it is not the real exam. Mock exam is taking the behavior of real exam, okay, but that is not your real exam. Mock fire drill is taking the behavior of your real fire accident, but it is not the real fire accident. Okay. Now when you call this a dot method one, now when you call this mock method, then this behavior get executed, not the real business logic. Okay, you can think like this. You have a real exam. Okay, and you have a mock exam. So real exam is having some set of 100 questions. Mock exam is also having set of 100 questions. However, your real exam is behaving, your mock exam also same behavior. Your real exam is having multiple choice questions. Your mock exam also will have multiple choice. Now you can create a mock exam similar to your real exam. But when you access your mock exam, you will get mock exam questions only. You will not get real exam questions. You will get the mock exam questions only. And these questions might be present in real exam or might not be present in real exam, but you'll get a feel of you are attending the mock exam. You are attending the real exam. Okay. So that means the behavior of this mock exam is also similar to real exam. But when you access the mock exam, you'll get the data from mock exam, not from the real exam. Similarly, this method You have to define the behavior as if of the real method, okay? And when you call this, it is not the real business logic. It is the fake business logic. Your real business logic will have the interaction to the database, but your fake business logic will not have interaction to the database. Okay, so your real business logic will have interaction to the database, but your fake business logic will not have interaction to database. Okay, it is similar to your real business logic only, but the thing is, your real business logic will interact with the database. Your fake business logic will not interact with the database. That is the difference. And you might ask a question, sir. Actually, you are telling that real exam and mock exam are similar, but I mean, real method and fake method are similar business logic. If real method is going to interact with the business database, why can't fake method also interact with database? Right. Okay, that might be a question. Okay, real method logic and fake method logic are same, but if real method business logic is going to interact with database, but why can't fake method cannot interact? Okay, fine. See, your real exam has real questions. Your mock exam has test questions. Okay, so these questions might not be same as these questions, but the behavior is same. The data might not be same, but the behavior is same. These two are behaving in the same way, but the data, the questions list here it is different. The questions list here is different. Okay, so here also the behavior of mock exam is same of the real exam, but here it is interacting with the data that is interacting with the database, but here it is interacting with the data just with the test data. There is no database here. And how? I'll tell you when I tell you the practicals, I'll tell you. So here in the fake method, and real method behavior are same. But real method will interact with the real data, through database. Okay. Fake method will interact with test data without database. That is the difference. So now what you are achieving this? Now the behavior is same for that. Now, if you are able to test this behavior, that's all. Our test is passed, irrespective of the data, whether it's a fake data or test data. If you're able to test the behavior, that is pass. See, if mock exam is able to work like the same real exam, like multiple choice questions, okay, every question to be attended in 5 seconds, okay, and there are negative marking for the questions. That are all the behavior between your real exam, same behavior your mock exam also is taking, but the questions might be different. Your real exam questions are different, your mock exam questions are different. Okay, but the behavior like 100 questions, multiple choice questions, okay, then each question negative marks, okay, each question to be attempted in 5 seconds, total exam duration 1 hour. All the behavior, your mock exam also will behave like your real exam, okay, but the data is different, the questions are different. Okay, but if mock exam is able to achieve that behavior, how the real exam is working, okay, that's all. Irrespective of the questions that mock exam is asking, your mock exam, we can tell that your mock exam is like your real exam. Okay, similarly here also, your fake method, real method behavior are same, but real method will interact with real data through database. Fake method will interact test data without database. So in this way, if you're able to test the behavior, if the behavior is same between both fake method and real method, then our test is passed. In this, what we are going to achieve with Mockito? With Mockito, we are going to achieve mainly why we are using Mockito? To create fake methods, to create fake objects. Why? Because if you use the original methods or real objects, we are going to work with the test data, and the test data is going to interact with the database, and there might be some insertions of test data, or there might be deletions of data, which is a danger. So any testing should not be worked out with the database, with the real database, because your real database will contain the data. Okay, so your test database should not be interacted with the database. So that is the reason we are actually simulating the behavior of the real method, the real object, to mock method and to mock object. Okay, so that the mock method and using mock method and mock object, we can avoid interacting with the database. Okay, that is what. So you have to come in that way. So first, why Mockito? Why Mockito? Okay, because with real data, with real method and real object. Okay, so there are chances to interact with database. Okay, because the real method is connecting with the database, and that way there will be chances to interact database with our unit test code, which might be danger. Because there might be possibility of deletion of the data or anything. Okay, which might be risk, you can say. Now using Mockito, if we can create mock methods and mock objects and create behavior of mock method, similar to real method behavior, and mock method should not interact with the database. And should work with only test data. Okay, if mock method behavior is working as expected, then test is passed. If mock method behavior is working as expected as a real method, okay, then test is passed. So this is what, and this will see practicals, how with mock method we can avoid interacting with the database. Okay, but how we can create the behavior of mock method, all that we'll see in the practicals. Okay. Yeah. See, we are able to test the behavior. If we are able to test the behavior, we know that this behavior we are expecting like it should work like a real business method. Okay. Though we are not calling actual real method, but we are expecting the behavior to work like real method. If that behavior we are able to test means, then we are done. And that behavior, whatever we are doing that behavior, it will not interact the database. Okay, it is our behavior. I mean that method behavior. I'm going to show that practically in Monday's session. Okay. So tomorrow there is no session. Okay, Monday we'll meet. Tomorrow, day after tomorrow, there are no sessions. Okay, wish happy new year for everyone. Advanced. Advanced wish you happy new year. Okay, so Monday we'll meet. I'll be explaining you this Marketo Monday with practical so that you'll understand clearly. All right, then. See you on Monday.